It feels like the kind of game where you're supposed to slow down, study enemies, and wait for the perfect opening. That's what I did at first. But as I played, the more of a fight started dragging out. Because the second you hesitate, the game starts undoing your progress right in front of you. You're a warrior without a name, clearing corruption from the land of Goretfo. You move from area to area, fighting pretty much everything in your path, aside from a few NPCs that fill you in on some lore. At a glance, it looks like a typical Soul-style setup, but the combat immediately starts working against that mindset. Enemies don't just have one health bar, they have a guard layer on top of their actual health. So your first job isn't killing them, it's breaking through that guard. Regular attacks chip it down to expose their health, but they barely do any real damage on their own. So you're constantly weaving in greatsword attacks to actually finish the job. And here's the catch, if you stop attacking, that guard starts regenerating. The moment you play it safe, you're literally undoing your own progress mid-fight. That's the shift. You're not waiting for openings, you're creating them and keeping them from closing. And everything else built on that idea. Parrying doesn't just block damage, it shatters guard. If you deflect the final hit in a combo, enemies get stunned. Dodging works how you'd expect, but dodging into a thrust will sidestep and it leaves them open for a quick counter. Stronger enemies flash yellow before powerful attacks, and instead of backing off, you can shoot them to interrupt it. So now you've got this rhythm: break guard, apply pressure, interrupt, and punish before enemies recover. And the game gives you different ways to keep that momentum going. You can play stealthily and go for backstabs that hit health directly. You can stagger enemies and trigger executions that bypass guard entirely, or go all the way and finish them with death blows once their health is gone. Combat arts add another layer, powerful abilities with cooldowns that hit hard, but feel best when you're using them to extend pressure, not reset it. And no doubt it pulls a lot from souls. Enemies drop souls for upgrades. If you die, they're left where you fell. Lose them if you don't make it back. Checkpoints function like bonfires, healing, fast travel, leveling up. And the souls you hold matter because difficulty ramps up quickly. You'll need to upgrade health, increase damage, craft more healing flasks just to keep up. Builds are a little different though. Instead of traditional stat investment, you're working with equipment boosting stats and adding perks based on how you want to fight. So your playstyle comes from what you equip, not just stats you level. The world design leans heavily into that soul structure. Large interconnected areas, shortcuts that loop back around, and that feeling of relief when you unlock one right next to a checkpoint. There's a lot to explore, and finding hidden areas or chests never really gets old. Boss fights go exactly where you expect. They're brutal. Unblockable attacks, projectiles that catch you off guard, and multiple phases that ramp things up fast. You're gonna die. A lot. But each attempt teaches you something, and finally getting through it is where the payoff hits. The game definitely has some rough edges. Presentation and translation aren't always great, but considering this came from a 3-person team, it makes sense. And honestly, it's easy to overlook, because once the combat clicks, it feels solid and it's responsive. Enemy movesets are varied enough to keep things interesting. You're constantly under pressure, and that survival aspect keeps you locked in. It's definitely not easy, but it works. If you've been wanting a new Souls experience, this'll scratch that itch. It's longer than it looks, with side content like collecting items, uncovering every area, and a new game plus mode. The devs are still updating it too, so there's more here than you'd expect at first. Turns out waiting for the perfect opening is exactly what holds you back. Crimson Oath is Backlog approved.